Hi, it's Lisa Cuneo, and welcome again to my scrapbook table. I'm playing along with 31 Days of Cut Files with Janet and MK, and I combined two cut files for this layout, as I've done a few times this month. And there is a lot going on in this video and in this layout. So first here I'm showing you what I got out and the photos that I have. Some of you that know me in person know that my husband changed jobs recently, so that's what this is documenting. I have two different kind of rub-ons. I have some titles here, and I have these gears, which I'm so excited about using. They're from MK's shop, Some Assemblage Required. Then I have some scrap papers, which I only end up using one of those. And at the moment, I don't know if I'm using white or gray for a background. But first I'm going to alter these cut files. I'm altering 3, but I end up only using 2. This is from Shimmers. It's called Penny in Your Pocket. And I could not get the sprayer to work. I tried cleaning it and everything, so I just grabbed a sprayer out of another bottle. A cheap old bottle, cleaned it out, sprayed it on there, let it dry, and then I'm adding chrome alone. My husband is in manufacturing, so there's a lot of metal and things happening in his work, and so I wanted that to be part of this layout. And then I decided I was going to do a little bit of heat embossing. I got 2 different powders out. Sorry for that other layout laying there. I was looking for something while the paint was drying. So I just randomly added some Versamark and dumped on this pewter embossing powder. And like where I ended up with a harsh line, I just rubbed it off because the whole point of this was to be very imperfect. And I just didn't want any straight lines from the edge of the Versamark pad. So I add some to each of the cut files. I have another one there that's like has some blue in it, but I decided to just go with the metals. This was so fun. I love embossing this way because sometimes when you're heat embossing, it's hard to get it just right. Or you get some powder where you don't want it, or it doesn't melt evenly, but for this, it doesn't matter at all. And I love heat embossing. It's what made me fall in love with stamping way back in the late 90s. And I still love it. I love that moment when the powder melts and it all turns liquidy. So this was really fun for me to do today. And they are all done, and I've decided I'm going to cut down the white and frame it in the dark gray, but for now I'm only working on the white. I will frame it all at the very end, which you'll see in the still shots. It is not in the video because this video is just getting way too long. So here I'm using my edge distressing tool from MK's shop, and I distress the edges. This blue paper is from Craft Consortium, I believe. The dark or the patterned gray there, I'm pretty sure is a Stampin' Up paper from several years ago. It had different textures on each side. And the blues in this kind of bring out the blue in this sign for both of the employers, his old one and his new one, as well as the computer on his desk on the screen. So that's why I chose it. And actually I've used this in Brian and Kayla's wedding album too, but it works here. That gray was actually a scrap with just a chunk taken out of it, so I'm happy to get that used up and out of my stash. So now I've decided where things are going, and I want to add a little bit of stamping and some rub-ons. This is a hexagon set from the company called All and Create. I bought it at MK's shop. I don't know if it's still there and available, but she usually has other stamp sets from this company as well, and they're great for mixed media. I think it's really fun. So I am just putting a light coating of VersaFine Morning Mist ink. And here you can see I try to ink it up using the lid. I was getting tired. And I'm just stamping the extra off there where I know it's going to be covered up. And adding it. This is a Stampin' Up stamp. I think it's from a set called Gorgeous Grunge, if I remember right. I like the lines on it. I use this quite a bit for mixed media type backgrounds. I didn't want to add a lot of color because the blue has a lot of color, but I didn't want plain white paper either. And now I'm thinking this is going here, the cut file is going to go there. I have my 2 photos, and the left page is about the job he was leaving. And so his last day there, his coworkers decorated his cubicle and his desk and things, and they gave him a nice send-off. It was very kind of them. He had been at that job for almost 19 years, and so it was a big deal to decide to leave there. It was a hard decision, but it was a good thing. So I've done some splatter and let it dry, and I'm ready to proceed. So I get this piece glued down. You can see the banners, and they had some, oh, I forget what that, like crepe paper type stuff that they strewn, I don't know, wrong word, that they spread all over his office. They had confetti, all sorts of things. And then these are some pictures. There's the desk at his new office, and just some parts and things that he was working with in his first week there. So that's why I added those. Now I'm adding some rub-ons. These are from the Inkwell collection from 49 and Market. And there we go. And I pulled out an old title sheet that I've really been wanting to use. And it's actually a travel. Most of the titles have to do with travel. But I thought it could work here because on the left page I'm going to have the title Great Memories. And on the right I'm going to have New Adventure. So the title is Great Memories, New Adventure. So that's the company he works for now. It's called Fujikura. And honestly, I do not know what he does. So people ask, and I'm like, they make stuff. That's all I know. He tries to explain it, and I don't always get it. That's okay. He's happy. So now I'm gluing down Adventure. I did change how it's arranged from how it was on the page. I did it by syllable. Part of me really liked the 333, but the English grammar person in me couldn't stand not dividing the word by syllable. So I did adventure. But maybe that isn't right. Now that I think about it, I don't know. Anyway, this is how it ended up. And I used some little foam letters to put new on there. I wanted them to be black to match all the other titles, and they're dark blue. So I just grabbed a Sharpie, and now they're black. They're also a little bit crooked, so I need to pull those up and fix them. But I love that you can Sharpie over these and change them. So there we go. For some reason, this didn't seem stuck down very well. Part of the problem with this and why it took me so long was that at the beginning, I had too much stuff out. I did not narrow down my choices well enough. And I mean, I cut probably 45 minutes of footage out of here that I was trying to make something else work and it just didn't. But now I get to use these gears. I mix the metals because I mixed the metals on the cut files. And there are different metals in the pictures. So this was really fun. I just looked back at, I was looking back through my channel to last year to try to figure out when I had posted something. And I did something very similar with some cut files last year, making them metallic. So I must like to do that. And there, that one's down. There were some tiny little pieces on this one, so I was trying to make sure they were glued down well so they don't get caught on something. And I wasn't sure what to use to adhere these metal gears, so I opted for mini glue dots, and that worked pretty well for all but one of them. One of them I ended up, I think the spaces on it were just too tiny for glue dots, so I ended up using some Nuvo Deluxe. But the rest of them, I used these glue dots. I think the ones I have are from Stampin' Up. I'm not sure. But these gears are so fun. And when I pulled out the gear cut file, I just knew I had to use these two. I've been waiting for just the right thing. And this is it. So I think I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I used 7 gears on this layout. There's not a ton of journaling. The left-hand page just says Dan's last day was bittersweet, but his coworkers gave him a nice send-off. And then on the right page, near the bottom, it reads, after nearly 19 years, Dan left automated packaging for a new job at Fujikura. This job is much less stressful, and it was a very good move. And it's only been 3 months, but at least at this point, it seems like it has been a very good change for him. And I'm happy for him. So we're coming to the end. Here are the still shots. I hope you get to view some other people who are doing 31 days of cut files, and I will have a link in the description box below. Thanks so much for joining me. I'd love it if you give me a thumbs up, and have a great day. Bye.